A world confined women before the war. Before the Second World War, women's lives were often confined to the home. They were expected to be wives and mothers, taking care of the family and the house. Many women worked in domestic service, while others held jobs in factories or shops. But their roles were often seen as less important than men's. Opportunities for education and careers were limited. The world for many women was small, their roles defined by tradition and societal expectations. A nation needs, women respond, stepping into the breach. When war broke out in 1939, everything changed. With millions of men away fighting, Britain faced a shortage of workers. The government called upon women to fill the gap, and they answered the call with determination. Factories needed to produce weapons and ammunition, and women stepped up to operate machinery. Fields needed tending, and women took on the role of farmers, keeping the nation fed. Buses and trains needed drivers, and women took the wheel, keeping the country moving. The war effort relied on the contribution of every citizen, and women rose to the challenge, proving their strength and resilience in ways never seen before. The faces of change stories from the home front. During World War II, the home front was a place of transformation and resilience. Women stepped into roles that were previously unimaginable, taking on jobs and responsibilities that were crucial to the war effort. Their stories are a testament to their strength and determination. One example is Rose, a young woman from Liverpool. Rose's life, like many others, was turned upside down by the war. She had dreams and aspirations, but the war demanded a different path. Before the war, she worked as a shop assistant. It was a modest job, but it was her own. She enjoyed interacting with customers and being part of the bustling community. When her husband was deployed, Rose took a job in a shipyard, welding parts for warships. This was a drastic change from her previous life, but she embraced it with courage and determination. It was hard, physical work, but Rose was proud to contribute. She knew that every weld she made was a step towards victory. The camaraderie among the women in the shipyard was a source of strength and solidarity. There was also Vera, a farmer's daughter from Devon. Vera's story is one of perseverance and adaptability. The war changed her life in ways she never expected. With her brothers away fighting, Vera took over the running of the family farm. She had to learn quickly, taking on tasks that were traditionally done by men. She learned to drive a tractor, plow fields, and harvest crops. The work was grueling, but Vera found a sense of purpose and fulfillment in her new role. These stories, and countless others like them, illustrate the extraordinary contributions of ordinary women during the war. They stepped up in a time of need, showing incredible resilience and resourcefulness. They shattered stereotypes, proving themselves capable of doing jobs that were previously considered men's work. Their legacy is a powerful reminder of what can be achieved when people come together in times of crisis. Beyond the battlefield, the war's legacy on women's roles. The impact of the war on women's lives was profound. It wasn't just about new jobs, it was about a shift in perspective. Women proved their competence, their resilience, and their indispensability to the nation. They demonstrated that they were not simply homemakers, but valuable members of society, capable of contributing on an equal footing with men. This newfound sense of purpose and recognition had a lasting impact on the women who lived through the war years. They had tasted independence, and they were reluctant to return to the pre-war status quo. Section 5. The right to work, the right to choose. Lasting impacts of wartime labor. After the war ended, many women were expected to return to their domestic roles. Society anticipated a return to the pre-war status quo, where women were primarily homemakers and caregivers. However, the reality was far more complex. However, the experience of working during the war had changed them. The war had thrust women into roles that were previously deemed unsuitable for them, and they had proven their capabilities beyond doubt. They had developed new skills, gained confidence, and tasted financial independence. The sense of accomplishment and the ability to contribute economically to their households had a profound impact on their self-perception. Many women were reluctant to give up their jobs. They had found a new sense of purpose and identity in their work. and the idea of returning to a life confined to domestic duties was unappealing. The war had opened up opportunities, and women were determined to seize them. They had seen what was possible and were not willing to let go of the progress they had made. Although progress was gradual, the seeds of change had been sown. The post-war period saw a slow but steady increase in the number of women entering the workforce, challenging traditional gender roles. Women continued to enter the workforce in greater numbers, pursuing careers in fields previously closed to them. They began to break barriers in professions such as engineering, medicine, and law. The war had shattered old stereotypes and paved the way for future generations of women to pursue their dreams. The legacy of wartime labor was a catalyst for the ongoing fight for gender equality, inspiring women to continue pushing boundaries and striving for their rightful place in all spheres of life. Section 6. Shifting societal sands, the slow march towards equality. The war also had a significant impact on women's rights. The Representation of the People Act of 1918 had granted some women the right to vote. But it was the war that truly highlighted the need for equal rights. Women had proven their worth to the nation, and they demanded to be treated as equal citizens. The war years saw increased support for women's suffrage, and in 1928, women finally achieved equal voting rights with men. This was a major victory for women's rights, and it paved the way for further progress in the decades that followed. Section 7. Echoes of Empowerment. The enduring inspiration of a generation. The legacy of the war years continues to inspire women today. The stories of the women who worked in factories, drove buses, and ran farms serve as a reminder of the strength, resilience, and determination of women. Their sacrifices and contributions help to shape the world we live in today, a world where women have more opportunities and freedoms than ever before. Section 8. A world transformed women in the wake of global conflict. The Second World War was a time of great upheaval and change. Nations were torn apart and societies were forced to adapt to the harsh realities of a world at war. Amidst the chaos, women found themselves stepping into roles that had previously been reserved for men. It was a time of loss and sacrifice, but also a time of courage, resilience, and progress. Women worked tirelessly in munitions factories, producing the weapons and supplies needed for the war effort. They served as nurses, tending to the wounded and providing comfort to those in need. They took on roles in civil defense, agriculture and transportation, ensuring that their communities continued to function despite the turmoil. For women, the war was a turning point. It was a period that challenged traditional gender roles and expectations. Women joined the military, serving as pilots, mechanics, and in other critical positions. They proved that they were capable of performing tasks that had long been considered the domain of men. The war opened up new opportunities for women, both during and after the conflict. Women began to enter professions that had previously been closed to them, and they became more active in political and social movements. The experiences of the war helped to pave the way for a more equal and just society as women demanded greater rights and recognition for their contributions. The women of the war generation may not have set out to change the world, but their actions had a profound and lasting impact on the lives of women for generations to come. They became role models and trailblazers, showing that women could excel in any field they chose to pursue. Their stories continue to inspire us today, reminding us that we are capable of overcoming even the greatest challenges, and that we all have a role to play in building a better future. The legacy of these women lives on in the achievements of modern women who continue to break barriers and strive for equality in all aspects of life. From leadership roles in politics and business to advancements in science and technology, the spirit of resilience and determination that defined the women of the WWII era continues to shape our world today.